One thing I never talked about in any of the videos about this kit were these spurs. I changed a bunch of other hardware, but I kept, for some reason, I think the bass drum should have the factory Slingerland stuff on it. They just look pretty classy and they work. But I didn't have all of the actual legs. It's called a spur. I don't know if the complete collection of parts is called a spur, and this is the leg, and that's the mount. But whatever. The leg pieces. These are all brand new, machined by a guy named is it Mike Ellis or Steve Ellis? I always mess up his name. There's another guy in England that messes with Premiere stuff that I think is Mike Ellis. So I think this is Steve, or vice versa. Either way. So that's 4 of those. There's the other side. The wing bolts came from Jim Moritz. I don't know how to pronounce your name, Jim. Sorry. I hate when people say my last name wrong. So tell me if I'm saying it wrong. And I had to put Healy coils in at least one of these. A Healy coil is the thing where you got stripped out threads. You drill it out, tap it to a bigger size, and insert a coil of threads with a special little installer tool. And then you have new, stronger steel threads, which some people go and do that to this old stuff, even if it doesn't need it yet, and it lasts longer. I just ordered this is like some generic piece of junk that fit in this. I got this Yamaha stand at like a what do you call it, a flea market or something, for like $10, but it didn't have the boom on the top. So I just found a long boom with a counterweight on it for 36 bucks on eBay. So that's coming. I've never really cared about having matching hardware, but something about this is making me want to start collecting Yamaha stuff. It's kind of a cool touch when all the stands match. I've always had just random stands. I've got a bunch of DW. There's a pearl bass there with cosmic percussion top on it. I've got too many things, really. I don't need to be buying anymore. There's hardware everywhere. Mounts, tom mounts, hardware, cymbal stands, all. There's another one of these out in the garage full of stands and rack parts from the Dark Side of the Moon setup. I'm gonna take a minute and show this. This is what Uncle Brad made. It's also it's an old Slingerland bass drum that my dad cut in half because my uncle, my dad's brother, Brad, makes these. He makes this artwork where he has it's a bunch of facts and lyrics and quotes from different artists. There you go. Brad Beyer, May 2021. That's Neil Peart from Rush, who passed away in 2020. I can't believe I forgot. But, Neil Peart, epic, talented drummer. Hemispheres, moving pictures. There you go, Slingerland. He played a called it Chromie. It was a big double bass kit with that same chrome finish on it. I tried to duplicate it with this stuff I got off of Amazon or something, but I didn't think I should go buy the full real deal stuff at the time, but it doesn't look quite. It looks kind of crappy. I guess it's good enough to be on the wall, but that's that. This is a drum head that Brian Ullman gave me. That came from Chris Daleen, which used to be on these drums, which were Chris's drums. I've been told to try these hydraulics on these Slingerlands. It might be the right sound for this David Robinson tone. We'll see. I've got a few of these kicking around. I don't know if I want to play on this one because it's signed, but maybe that could be a cool thing to do. Got a bunch of blue hydraulics somewhere. Anyway, just thought I'd update the video because I didn't talk about the spurs. And here we are now. Oh, this has been on since practice the other night. I use these, they're from Drumeo. I've seen the same shape earbud sold under different brand names, so they're probably not, they're not that special. I think I paid $70 or $80 for them. I originally had these from Shore. These are like the $100 ones at Sam Ash. The driver on one side of them blew out, and I went and I got those. So there's some Octobans. Got all 8. You don't see those every day, huh? I found these sitting outside in the rain, upside down with water inside of them. Luckily they're made of fiberglass, so it didn't hurt anything. But the guy didn't know what they were. He had that's where this snare came from too. It's the Stuart Copeland. That's the snare that Stuart Copeland used. Tama makes the signature model based off of that now. It was a pearl kit with chrome wrap on it, real metal chrome, double bass fiberglass kit. And it was completely covered in rust. But I got the Octobans, I got that snare, I got a handful of cymbals out of the deal, a bunch of hardware, and it was like almost no money. The chrome was all destroyed, so I've stripped that all down, and I've got to, I don't know, I think I'm just going to put the drums back together with no wrap on them. Those are out in the garage. I can't show those right now. Anyway, these are the Ludwigs I've been working on. 16 by 24, 14 by 16, 10 by 14. I'm trying to sell that as a kit. And then I'll have 14 by 24, 16 by 16, 16 by 18, 10 by 14, and there's also a 9 by 13 if I want to use that with it. Similar to those. These are made of birch. They're called Super Maple. The finish is called Super Maple. Those are 80s Tama Superstars. This was completely, they came from a church, and there was a screwed up tom mount on here that had cymbal arms attached to it that were falling down and just gouging the finish. So I completely sanded this whole thing down and cleared it. Wet sand, buff, 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 buff. And the same thing to the hoops, if I'm not mistaken. And I can't believe how nice it came out. It doesn't quite match the more honey kind of aged look of the other drums, but I was pretty happy with the results. So that's a 24 by 16, 24, 14, 9 by 13. There's a 16 by 16 out in the garage that I also sanded down, that I'm still working on buffing and sanding. And then this is a 16 by 18 that came, this didn't come with those. I got this separate. It's a little different. It's the same shell. It doesn't have reinforcement hoops like some of them do, but it's got the tone control, and the other drums don't. Somebody sprayed clear coat on it. I forget. They fixed it up, and there's like, you can see the clear coat is on the badge or something. So anyway, those will be for sale. And these are the old Jasper maple quarters that I wrapped in green, painted them silver to kind of pay homage to Gretsch, because they're the same shells that a Gretsch drum set would have. They had Fibes parts on them, made by this company in Alabama. It's a 14 by 20, 14 by 15, 13 by 14, 9 by 13, 8 by 12, 8 by 10, and then 6 and 8 inch concert toms that came from marching quads that used to be cut like a cutaway triangle thing. I cut them. I had Dale Flanagan from Fortune Drums cut them and do some edges on the rest of these. And then I wrapped them in green. The 15 inch floor tom is actually a shell that came from the Gretsch factory. It was like a blemish or something. Can't see that too well, but it's back there. That drum I completely built out. It was a shell with no holes and no edges on it. I bought lugs and hoops and Fibes, floor tom, leg brackets and everything. And I had the guy make up these badges. Some of these badges are original ones that I put back on. These ones, I had a dude in Bridgehampton, a sign shop in Bridgehampton, the train tracks. He made those. They didn't come out too great. Some of them are better than that one. Like that one's cool. But yeah, that's a cool drum set, but I never use it. This is a 20 inch Fibes bass drum. This is a 14 by 12 Fibes tom that I took apart to clean up, and it just got more dirty because stuff was being sprayed somewhere. It's just dirty. I don't know what I want to do with that drum. It's too deep. It's kind of like a floor tom. It's too big to put up on top of the bass drum. There's that, and the 13 inch power tom also that I have. I'd love to cut them down to make them shorter, but you got to figure out where the holes. You can move the lug down, make a new hole, and put the lug here, and then cut it so the bearing edge is right above. It would have to be the same distance between this hole and the bearing edge. You can make the bearing edge like right underneath there and put the lug here, but Every time I go measure it out to figure that out, it turns out that it's not going to be quite the right depth. You could just do the bottom or just do the top, but then you've got the badge not centered between the top and bottom. So I've just left it alone for now.